Hello everyone, I'm Changyang from Huawei Cloud. Today we continue to introduce the digital transformation challenges of a Thailand retail giant. During peak hours from 9 to 11 a.m., POS system of their convenience store would frequently freeze, which was very frustrating for store managers. Huawei Cloud conducted a comprehensive analysis and found some causes. It was using a DDS MongoDB cluster to store POS data from its store. The cluster consists of 8 shards, supporting about 4 terabytes of storage. There were 2 major problems causing the excessive lag. Problem number 1, scattered data distribution makes it hard to balance load. Retail companies often struggle to manage complex and scattered data. You can't just put all the data into one shard. If you do, during peak hours, queries will pile up and response slow down. Let's look at an example. This brand had 80% of their data on product supply, inventory, and sales in Shard 1. From 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. every day, queries from over 1,000 stores often push CPU usage to 100%, which result in delays. This happened because they simply used store numbers as sharding keys. Stores in busy area were super active, while other quieter stores generated much less data. So one shard would get overloaded while another was barely used. Problem number 2, complex statements and parameters slow down queries and O&M. If there are slow SQL statements, or if you perform a primary-secondary switch over before creating index, the system often frequently freezes. Let's say the customer data O&M team used the unwind parameter. This splits a bunch of fields from the source data into separate files. Imagine you have a product inventory table with fields like SKU number, SKU name, store, inventory quantity, sales, and DOS. Using unwind breaks all the fields into different files. This can max out your memory. When you perform a primary-secondary switch over before creating indexes, it's like having a book and notes that don't match up. Every time you check the note, you have to flip through the books to find the source. Similarly, every time you query the backup, you need to rebuild the index to reconnect everything. This can easily lead to an out-of-memory error. Huawei Cloud immediately took some steps to help them handle this problem. First, we redesigned the load balancing, splitting retail data into different shards. The shard keys use multiple fields such as store ID and barcode. DDS MongoDB automatically figures out how much data there is in each shard and balance it out. We can enable automatic migration during off-peak hours in the early morning to minimize the impact on store operation. Data was grouped into 8 major shards. After doing so, each shard stays at about 40% usage. No extra resources were needed. Query took no longer than 1 minute and the delay dropped by 80%. Second, DDS MongoDB best practice helped the customer identify slow statement and unnecessary parameter. We also help them create index before primary and secondary switch over and remove invalid parameter in SQL statement. This way, you don't have to constantly scan for issue or do inefficient manual maintenance anymore. With the help of Huawei Cloud, this brand fixed the freezing issue of the POS system for their retail operation. They reduced cost and did not have to scale out resources. Now, both store employee and executive can run queries smoothly. Looking ahead, they plan to expand to 2,000 stores this year. With their forward-looking cloud deployment, even if data spikes every day, it will still support smooth and flexible queries for every store. The POS system won't hold them back anymore. Looking for more cloud transformation tips? Follow Huawei Cloud to keep your business ahead of the curve.